In 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea, a room full of bishops, held a collection of manuscripts. These weren't just any texts. They contained Jesus's exact instructions, the method he taught to enter the monad, to access source consciousness directly, without priests, without ritual, without the church. Emperor Constantine stood up, looked at those pages, and gave one order: burn them all. And they did. What I'm about to tell you is what was written on those pages. The method they tried to erase. But here's what they didn't know: the chosen ones preserved it. And if you're watching this right now, you're about to discover why they worked so hard to hide it from you. You didn't find this video by accident. You felt it, haven't you? That restlessness that nothing in this world can satisfy. That knowing that there's something more, something they're not telling you. You've tried their churches, their prayers, their rituals. And it all felt empty. Hollow. Like you were going through the motions of someone else's script. That feeling. That's not doubt. That's not lack of faith. That's your soul remembering what was taken from you. What was deliberately erased so you'd stay dependent on their system. The church didn't just hide knowledge. They hid your power. Your direct access. Your birthright. Because the moment you discover you can enter the monad directly, the moment you realize you don't need their intermediaries, their entire structure collapses. And right now, in this moment, you're about to get back what they stole. But I need you to understand something first. Once you know this, you can't unknow it. Once this door opens, you can't close it again. So if you're not ready for that level of responsibility, close this video now. Still here? Then you're one of the chosen. Let's begin. Jesus never taught what the church teaches. He never said you needed a priest to talk to God. He never said you needed rituals or buildings or hierarchies. What he actually taught was the opposite: direct access. Immediate connection. The kingdom within. The monad is source consciousness. The one. Pure awareness before it fragmented into the universe you see. And here's the part they couldn't allow people to know: there's a doorway back to it. Not when you die. Not if you're good enough. Right now. While you're breathing. While you're sitting here watching this. Jesus called it the kingdom of God within you. Not a metaphor. An actual location in your consciousness. A portal. And he showed a select group, the chosen ones, exactly how to access it. Not the masses. Not the crowds. The ones who were ready. Why only them? Because this knowledge is dangerous to power structures. A person who can access the monad directly doesn't need permission. Doesn't need validation. Doesn't need control. They become ungovernable. And that's exactly what the church couldn't allow. So they erased it. Systematically. Methodically. They burned the Gnostic Gospels. They destroyed the mystery schools. They killed the teachers who refused to stop sharing it. And they rewrote history to make you think Jesus taught dependence instead of sovereignty. But they failed. Because the chosen ones memorized it. Encoded it. Passed it down in secret. And now, 2,000 years later, you're about to receive what they tried to bury. The church filled their services with noise. Hymns, chants, organ music, constant talking. You know why? Because the portal opens in silence. And they knew that. Jesus disappeared constantly. Into the wilderness. Into the mountains. The scriptures say, to pray, but that's the sanitized version. He was entering total inner silence. Consciousness so quiet that the constructed reality stops interfering. That's where the monad reveals itself. This is your first step, and it's the one they've made almost impossible in modern life. Constant noise. Constant stimulation. Constant distraction. All designed to keep you from discovering what happens in the silence. Find a place where you won't be disturbed. 20 minutes. Sit with your spine straight. Close your eyes. And stop. Stop thinking. Stop praying. Stop asking for anything. Just exist in the gap between thoughts. Your mind will scream. It'll tell you this is a waste of time. That you should be doing something productive. That's the conditioning talking. That's 2,000 years of programming trying to keep you away from the one place they can't control, your inner silence. Push through it. The portal begins to crack open here. You'll feel it. A pressure behind your forehead. A pulling in your chest. A sense that something is waking up inside you that's been asleep your whole life. That's real. That's the seal breaking. Don't stop now. The church taught division. Body versus spirit. Flesh versus soul. Sinner versus saint. All separation. All fragmentation. Because a divided consciousness is a controllable consciousness. Jesus taught the opposite. I and the Father are one. Not will be one. Are one. Present tense. Unified state. This wasn't theology. It was instruction. You're fragmented right now. Parts of you pulling in different directions. The part that seeks truth. The part that's afraid of what you'll find. The part that doubts everything. The part that knows this is real. The church created this fragmentation deliberately. In your silence, start observing these parts. Don't judge them. Just watch. The anxious part. The skeptical part. The desperate part. See them all. Then ask yourself, who's watching? Who's aware of all these fragments? That awareness is the real you. Unfragmented. Whole. As you practice this, something miraculous happens. The pieces collapse back toward center. Back into singular, I am, consciousness. Your consciousness is pulling itself back together, reversing the separation the church programmed into you. This is what they couldn't allow. A unified person can't be manipulated. Can't be controlled through guilt or fear. Can't be convinced they need saving from the outside. Now we get to what they really didn't want you activating. Jesus said, if your eye is single, your whole body will be filled with light. The church said it was a metaphor. It wasn't. Your pineal gland. Your third eye. That's the physical anchor for the monad portal. And here's what they've done, they've calcified it. Fluoride in the water. Toxins in the food. But more than that, they've convinced you it doesn't exist. That it's New Age nonsense. Occult danger. Demonic deception. Why? Because through this eye, you see truth. Not their truth. Actual truth. Reality as it is, not as they've constructed it for you. In your meditation, once you've found the silence and started the unification, bring your awareness to the center of your forehead. Not visualization. Actual awareness. Feel it there. A point of concentration between your eyebrows but deeper, inside your skull. Breathe into that point. Every inhale, energy gathers. Every exhale, it intensifies. The pressure will build. It might become uncomfortable. Don't back away. That discomfort is 2,000 years of closure breaking open. You'll start seeing things. Patterns. Symbols. Light. Don't be afraid. This isn't demonic. This is your natural sight coming back online. The church called it demonic so you'd shut it down if it ever started opening. Don't fall for it. This is yours. This is what they took. Take it back. This is the moment the church absolutely could not allow anyone to reach. Because once you cross through, you're no longer theirs. You're free. When the first 3 steps have done their work, and this might take days or weeks or months, depending on how deep the conditioning goes, something will happen spontaneously. You'll feel a pulling. Something drawing your consciousness upward through the crown of your head. The church taught you to fear this. They called it Kundalini danger. Demonic possession. Loss of control. All lies. All designed to make you pull back at the exact moment of breakthrough. Don't resist. This is the crossing. Your awareness will expand beyond your body. You'll lose your sense of boundaries. There will be a moment, terrifying and ecstatic, where you won't know who you are. Where everything you thought was you dissolves. And then you pass through. The portal opens. And on the other side, you experience the monad directly. Not as concept. Not as belief. As lived reality. Infinite love that's simultaneously infinite intelligence. You recognize yourself as it. You always were. They just convinced you otherwise. Jesus reached this state. That's what made him dangerous. Not his miracles. His freedom. His unshakable knowing that he and Source were one. And he tried to show others how to reach it too. That's what got him killed. And that's what they've been preventing ever since. When you return from the crossing, and you will return, you don't lose your body or your mind, you're different. Fundamentally. Permanently. First, you see the lies. All of them. The church's lies. Society's lies. The lies you've been telling yourself. They become transparent. You can't unsee them. And you can't pretend anymore. Second, your abilities activate. Intuition becomes precise. You know things before they happen. You read energy like text. Manifestation becomes almost instantaneous. This isn't supernatural. This is your natural state restored. The state they've been suppressing. Third, you become dangerous to their system. Not because you're aggressive. Because you're free. You can't be guilt. Can't be controlled through fear. Can't be convinced you're broken and need their salvation. You know you're already whole. Already divine. Already one with Source. And that's why they'll push back. People in your life will tell you you've changed. That you've lost your way. That you need to come back to church, to normalcy, to the safe controllable version of yourself. That's the programming trying to reassert itself. Don't fall for it. The Gnostics tried to preserve this teaching openly. In 180 AD, Bishop Irenaeus wrote, Against Heresies, a manual for identifying and destroying anyone teaching direct access to the divine. Thousands were killed. Libraries burned. Entire lineages erased. Why am I telling you this? Because once you activate this, you become visible. Energetically. And not everyone is going to celebrate your freedom. Some will actively try to pull you back down. Don't force this through drugs. Don't rush it through extreme practices. The portal opens naturally when you're genuinely ready. Forcing it creates false doorways that lead to delusion or worse. Stay grounded. This isn't about escaping the body. It's about bringing the monad through your body. Becoming a living portal. If you float off into spiritual bypassing, you've missed the point entirely. And protect your energy. As you activate, you become sensitive. Dense environments will drain you. Negative people will feel intolerable. You'll need to be ruthlessly selective about where you go and who you're with. This isn't elitism. This is survival. The Church erased this teaching because it destroys their business model. The moment you discover direct access, you don't need their rituals. Their priests. Their buildings. Their guilt. Their control. You become sovereign. And sovereignty is what they've been preventing for 2 millennia. But here's what they didn't count on. They didn't count on this moment. Right now. 2025, when the information age would make it impossible to keep secrets. When the chosen ones would find each other across the noise. When the truth would spread faster than they could suppress it. You're part of that wave. That's why you're here. Why this video found you. Why something in you knew to keep watching even when your conditioning screamed at you to stop. Jesus showed the chosen ones how to enter the monad. The Church erased the instructions. But they're no longer erased. They're right here. In your hands. In your awareness. The question is what you're going to do with them. Start tonight. The sacred silence. Tomorrow, the unification. This week, activate the eye they closed. And when the time comes, trust yourself enough to make the crossing. Because on the other side of that portal is everything they told you was impossible. Everything they convinced you that you'd never deserve. Everything they said you needed them to access. It was always yours. They just made you forget. Take it back. If you felt your entire body respond to this, if something inside you said, finally, someone's telling the truth, comment, I remember, below. And if you've already crossed through, if you've already accessed what they tried to hide, share your experience. Because your story might be exactly what another chosen one needs to break through their final layer of conditioning. The Church erased it. We're restoring it. One awakened consciousness at a time. The monad is calling. The portal is open. Step through.